Okay, very good. So, hello everyone again. In this live stream, I'll be showing you how to set up an API route in SvelteKit using the x402 protocol without using any middleware or hooks. And later I'm going to explain why did I not use hooks or middleware in my case, and maybe it will help some of you. So let's jump in. But before we jump in, I have to say, in this live stream, I'm going to be recording a YouTube video because videos usually get more plays than streams. So if you like this type of content, maybe you should subscribe and come into my stream next time, and we can chat, or yeah, we can chat and you can ask me questions and everything. So yeah, let's get started. Hello everyone, my name is Baby Feavel. That's cringe. Hello everybody, my name is Feavel, and in this video, kind of blinked. Hello everyone, my name is Feavel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up SvelteKit with x402 API routes to accept payments on the blockchain. Actually, we also have a wallet connection. Hello everyone, my name is Feavel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up Hello everyone, my name is Feavel. Have you ever wondered how to set up a SvelteKit HTTP 402 payment required protocol? Well, in this video I'm going to show you how to set it up. Let me quickly check. Hello everyone, my name is Feavel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up Hello everyone, my name is Feavel. Have you ever wondered how to set up a SvelteKit HTTP 402 payment required protocol? Well, in this video Hello everyone, have you ever wondered how to set up a HTTP 402 protocol in SvelteKit to accept payments on the web 3, for example like Solana or Ethereum or USDT or USDC for using your API route? In this video I'm going to show you how I set up my API routes inside SvelteKit. So let's jump into it. Hello everyone, have you ever wondered how to set up a HTTP 402 protocol in SvelteKit to accept payments on the web 3, for example like Solana or Ethereum or USDT or USDC for using your API route? In this video I'm going to show you how I set up my API routes inside SvelteKit. So let's jump into it. Yeah, that's a good one, I like it. Okay, So for those who don't know, let me quickly explain what is a 402 and why it works and why for some people it fits, for some it doesn't. It really depends on the project you're building, and you have to decide for yourself. Kind of messed up everything. Let me quickly go over and explain what is a x402 protocol, so you can pick whether you should use it or not, because this protocol might not fit every use case. So what is it? The how do I jump into it? Let's see. So let's start from what is an x402 protocol. Basically, it's a modern take on the HTTP 402 status code. Instead of redirecting to a checkout page, the server returns a 402 response along with a payment requirement in the body. So, what is x402? x402 is a modern take on the HTTP protocol 402. When the user tries to access something, the server returns 402, which means pay and come back. As you can see in this diagram, when a client requests an API or some route on the server returns a 402. You can't really see my... okay. So a 402 response basically for directing to a checkout page, the server returns a 402 is x402. x402 is a modern take on the HTTP protocol 402. When the user tries to access something, the server returns 402, which means pay and come back. This approach is mainly built to replace the standard checkout flow or subscription flow and allow more diverse versions of business modeling. So you can request a small piece of content which can cost like a few cents, or you can like do some server actions after the payment is settled. On this diagram, we can clearly see, 1 second. Well, In this diagram, we can clearly see that when a client requests some content to the server responds 402 payment required with the data that is needed for the user to sign a transaction. Then, using the data that the server sent to the client, the user selects a payment method and creates a payload. Basically, the user makes a partially signed transaction and then sends the X payment header, which is encrypted, to the server. With the data that is needed for the user to payload, makes a partially signed transaction and then sends the X payment on this wired with the in this diagram we can clearly see that when a client requests some content to the server responds 402 payment required with the data that is needed for the user to sign a transaction. This is very crucial to understand the 402 protocol because it differs from when a user actually settles the transaction by him in itself. This is very crucial to understand that the user doesn't actually settle the transaction on its behalf, but it partially signs a transaction, which says basically, okay, you can take my money. But you will take my money, not I will give it up. When the server receives this partially signed transaction, it first verifies it with the facilitator or some kind of service that actually says, okay, there is this wallet, there is this user, and then there is this receiver, and then there is this amount, and this transaction actually is valid. After the verification, it returns it to the server. And then the server can kind of decide, does it want to settle the and then the server has this opportunity to decide, does it want to settle the transaction on the facilitator, which is what we are going to do? Or does the server want to settle the transaction by itself so it can change or the server can decide if it wants to settle the transaction by itself, but that requires a Web3 connection to the Web3 and requires the instructions and some other code to do it. So I did one implementation of that, but I did not really use it, but it's for another reason, which I'll explain a bit later. Or the server can decide to settle the transaction by itself, but it's really complicated and how do I explain this? Actually, it's valid. After the verification, it returns it to the server. And then the server can kind of decide, does it want to settle the and then the server has this opportunity to decide, does it want to settle the transaction on the facilitator, which is what we are going to do. Or the the server can pick to settle the transaction by itself, but I did not implement that because it required another package and it's some more code, but I will show you how to do it at the end. I actually cannot show it because I didn't do it. Or the server also can settle the transaction by itself by making a connection to the blockchain and settling the transaction. The use cases of this protocol are very broad, and the use cases of this protocol are very broad and can be used in a lot of different business models. For example, the AI agent API access, MCP servers, video audio streaming or generation, accessing some data like weather or stocks, whatever, gaming goods, and even some like malicious. Basically, it's very open. This way of taking care of the transaction allows the server to safely do some operations after the payment is settled. So the server doesn't have to do actions if the user has paid or not paid. Let me explain. So you might ask, how is it different from the traditional way of settling a transaction, and why would you use a facilitator? The main difference is that in a traditional transaction settling process, if the main problem here is that if you allow the client to settle the transaction by themselves, it's really hard to guarantee the what's the word for it? The weather is awesome today. I gotta go. Why would you use a facilitator? I actually tried using this approach, but then I met a small problem. Let me explain. When a client tried to access some content from the server, for example an API route, the server returned the payment details. Then the user settled the transaction on the blockchain by themselves using a wallet, because they already had the payment requirements. Then the user used like the proof of the payment to access the server again on the API route. The server would return the content. It will show the like premium content, for example, but the server did not have this model did not prove that this model didn't take into account that a user can just reuse their successful payment like header and access the content again. So a database was required to store like if the signature is already being used. So basically I had to add a database in that case and store all the successful transactions and which user they belong to have like a well, you know what I mean. So I did not have, so this system doesn't really provide a one-time use, like one-time use. So this system doesn't really provide the one-time use design as like said, as like as prepared as. So this system doesn't really provide the one-time use design as it was originally planned to, so I had to go back and build my own like SvelteKit API route server thing. Let me show it to you. So here is the repo, which you can download and check out. So here is the repo which you can download and check out, and let me quickly walk over what I have done. The main files are this API route, which has So let me quickly walk you through the project. Basically, there is this wallet button. Which a user connects their wallet. So let me quickly walk you through the project. Basically, in the main route, the user connects their wallet with the wallet button component. And then there is a x402 store, which takes care of the and then there is the x402 store, which does some feedback to the UI when the transaction and everything is going on, and shows the status of the transaction. The wallet connection itself doesn't have too much complicated things in it. Basically, it's a subscribe with a connect method, which checks the browser environment and detects a wallet standard UI wallet, and then stores it to reuse it in the future. The x402 store, the x402 store kind of the x402 store has this fetch method on it, which first checks if there is a wallet connected and the user can pay. And then using the official x402 core client library, it creates a client, And then using the official x402 core client library, it creates a 402 client, creates a SVM signer with the Solana wallet account signer package. And then again, using the official package, it wraps the client with the fetch method and does a fetch to the protected content URL. As you can see, this wrap fetch with payment does 4 things. It makes an initial request to the server. If a 402 response is received, it parses the payment requirements. It creates a payment header using the configured HTTP client, and then retries the request with the payment header. So it's a very complicated function. And then when everything is settled and done, the data is returned and the status is changed and reflected in the UI. This was all the client-side code, which is needed to create payments to a protected route. The interesting part is this API route, which Svelte has. Well, this API route So the server API route does all the heavy lifting. What it does, it sets the payment requirements, like the price of the content, the schema, and the payment network, and also the pay-to address, basically the receiver of the funds. So when a GET request is sent to this route, it checks if there is payment signature header. If there is no, then it sends a 402 error and says, okay, here are the payment requirements. First build a payment signature and then come back. And the accepted requirements are set into this accept field, and it builds this header, so there is no JavaScript involved, like sending here and there. So the main requirements are built into this response header, so the client can quickly see, okay, here are the payment requirements, and I can do the signature. After the client does the payload and sends back the request with the payment signature, it strings it. I don't know how to say it. It parses it, basically it destructures it. And uses this verify payment method on the resource server object. which takes in a payment payload from the client, and payment requirements, which we have set on the server. Well, if the signature is valid, then it's valid. No more to say. And then the server has to settle the transaction. Here I also use this resource server settle payment method, which is like super simple, and I didn't have to use all the Solana Kite packages to build one. Although, like, to use it in production, I have to make a facilitator account and have some funds, if I'm not wrong, to actually like sponsor the transaction, because here the user doesn't actually pay for the transaction by themselves, because the user might have like no Solana at all. The user can pay like USDT or USDC. In this case, we are paying USDC. So the transaction fees actually have to be paid by a wallet that is definitely like it has some Solana funding in it. So here's a like small detail here. And then after the final settlement like happens, the premium content is unlocked, or some server-side actions can be done. For example, the settlement can be recorded into a database, or the user can or the server can make a request to another server. Like, it completely depends on the use case here. So yeah, if you've found this video useful, wait a second. So if you still find this setup kind of complicated, there's also this very cool package, x402 Svelte. It's like, we are so different. But it uses another approach. Basically, it's a hooks.server setup approach, where inside the hook, you make the requirements for a route, and then you don't have to like take care of the verification and settlements in your server code. It's all done by the middleware, which is also very, very cool. But I wanted to like keep control of the steps by myself. Also, it supports multi-chain and like API levels and dynamic routes, so it's a pretty cool package and it might help you. So yeah, if you found the video useful, make sure to like, subscribe. I also have a very cool video about Svelte Convex real-time text editor collaboration. Make sure to check that out. Maybe you can even build a system where, or maybe I will build a system where like the user has to pay for the multi-user collaboration, but it's completely like future idea. Anyway, if you liked it, make sure to put a like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay, we're ending the stream and I have to run because I have a friend who just took an exam and I have to go say hi to him. Okay, thanks for watching. Peace out, everybody. Bye bye.